CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. Cisco have designed their courses into 3 levels. One is called CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE. CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. CCNP stands for Cisco Certified Network Professional, and CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Network Expert.
So what is your introduction, sir? Chandra sir?
Yeah, I will introduce myself later. Okay.
Okay.
I will introduce myself later. So we are studying this CCNA, and this we study CCNA for exactly for 1 month.
Okay.
And after completion of this CCNA, actually you can appear for the exam to get the certification directly from the Cisco systems, which is a global certification. And the cost for the CCNA exam will be $325 USD. And if you're writing this exam in India, we'll be having some GST.
Oh, okay.
And these examinations are conducted in Pearson VU testing centers.
Okay.
And to prepare for these exams, we have some dumps actually.
Oh,
so
okay.
dumps are also sold online from Cisco resellers actually.
Oh, okay.
And the cost for the dumps again it's $20.
So you guys will give the dumps or?
No, we don't give dumps. You can buy the dumps online.
Okay.
Yeah. For a group itself, you can buy 2-3 students. You can,
Yeah. For the whole batch, one guy can buy, another can share.
buy and you can share it.
Oh, okay. Desi style.
Yeah. So once you prepare these dumps will be having around some 350 questions will be there in the dumps. And if you prepare these 350 questions in the examinations, actually they ask you around some 65 to 75. 65 to 75 questions will be asked in the exam actually.
Oh, okay. That will come from 350 itself?
Yes, exactly. From 350 only, they ask you.
Oh, okay.
And they'll be having some weightage of these marks. And for out of 1,000, you should get 825 actually.
Okay. That's the passing score?
Yeah, the passing score is 825 out of
22%. Oh, wow.
So I am saying like before February 2020, in CCNA itself, we have like so many courses are there. So CCNA routing and switching is one course, CCNA security is one course, CCNA voice, data center, wireless, and service provider, and so on. There are. But presently, Cisco in 2000 after 2020 February, like I'm sure like in mid 20 February, they changed this exam pattern. So we have only CCNA Enterprise. CCNA Enterprise. That is called 200-301. So in which main concentration was on routing and switching. They added this routing and switching. Security has been also added. Some data center concepts are being added. Some wireless concepts are being added. So they concentrated on these 4 technologies actually.
Okay.
Because in before February 2020, even from 1980 to 2020, like last 20 to 25 year, most of the professionals, they need to study routing and switching. They need to study security. They need to study data center, and they have their own certifications at that time.
Was it more difficult previously or right now?
Yeah, because you see, at that time it was so costly actually for all the certifications to be done. And this pattern actually completely has been changed after February 2020. And we have only one course called as CCNA and only one certification, that is 200-301. And this certification is accepted throughout the world. Every MNC company, they knew that if you are, my name is Abdul, I've been certified for 200-301, means they knew that you have been certified. We have gone course for CCNA, and you have studied the terms and you prepared for the exam yourself, and they have done, and everybody they'll be doing that. Now, if you see that we are going for the Cisco website, when you log on to the Cisco site, Cisco actually, yeah, they come into the world in 1983, started manufacturing different types of the products, the devices like switches, routers, firewalls. hmm, Like they have the different types of the devices they have. So the devices that are suitable for security technology, it's a technology, I'm saying. Security technology, collaboration technology, networking technology, computing, for cloud it is computing, and also we have like applications, they have their own software and services. They manufacture a varieties of network devices. Commonly, that what we use is routers, switches, and firewalls. You ask me fix is outdated. Now we have Cisco ASA.
Yeah.
ASA is also is being outdated to next generation firewall called Cisco Firepower. Also, we have other types of technologies uh, for the from the perspective of firewalls. Like we have some Palo Alto, we have Fortinet, Checkpoint. So my name is Chandu. I have been into the training from last 18 years. I am not only giving training to the students, but also to the professionals. We take some AMC projects for for the firewalls and also for the load balancers and so on. Okay,
You
so we
have Palo Alto also, right?
yes, I do teach Palo Alto.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have
Palo Alto. The next course I would look for is after this. If I'll go for Palo Alto because the Palo Alto is in the implementation mode actually right now.
most of all IT organizations now they use Palo Alto. Yeah, we'll discuss that. Don't worry.
Okay,
Now,
that's good.
yesterday itself I formatted my device, so I don't have any information on the desktop. Fine.
Okay, one more
So,
question, Chandu. Like,
yeah,
what
please.
about labs?
Yeah, good question. Now, in the first day itself, I'm telling you how you are going to do the labs is you need to go to the google.com and try to download, free download Cisco Packet Tracer. Cisco Packet Tracer. You can do it now itself if you don't have. You have to go to the google.com, free download Cisco Packet Tracer. I will tell you a website. Uh, my ads are coming. Sorry. Go for the computer networking notes website. Computer networking notes. Under the computer networking notes, you can download for 8.20, 8.21, or even you can, yeah, you can download the latest, no issue. So if someone is using MacBook, you have to download for Mac OS. So download that particular application and we'll see the installation later. So almost I've been within 1 minute is going to be downloaded. So
Downloads, while it downloads, can
and
I have a question? Ask a question.
yeah, okay. After you download, we'll be installing this. It's like a simulator for doing all the labs of ccna.
Okay.
We do all the practicals. You know, we install the VMware, we install your server OS or the client OS, and you do test it in the VMware workstation.
Okay.
So like that, we have the Cisco Packet Tracer for doing all the labs of Cisco.
Okay. What is the difference between this N Nexus 7 switches and the regular switches? That also I want to like. Is there a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
difference in configuring those stuff?
Yes.
Because
I
that
will
I'm
come
not
for.
able to.
I will tell you, teacher, because I will tell you, Abdul,
Mhm.
because there are some other students are here.
Okay.
They may be not knowing like what is a switch itself. So I will explain at the time in the in the course duration.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
uh, so when I'm going for like learning, if I'm going for like certifications and exams, like if I'm going for like all certification from the Cisco certifications are divided into 3 types. One is like associate level, another one is professional, another one is expert. Sorry. In the associate level, we have one course called ccna. After you study ccna, you can choose ccnp collaboration. Follow my mouse. After studying ccna, you can study ccnp collaboration or ccnp cyber ops, specifically for cyber security engineers, ccnp data center, ccnp enterprise, ccnp security, ccnp service provider. If you get a job in Etzla, or if you get like AT&T, or if you get like in BT, is from UK, another student is from UK, and if you get a job in BT, they expect you to study ccnp service provider, Muhammad. And if you are working in Chicago, if you get a job in AT&T, or if you are getting like Verizon, those are the service providers of internet and WAN service provider. Yeah. So they look for CCNP service provider. For example, you 3 students from 3 regions. One is from Australia, UK, and US. So if you get job in NBN, the NBN is a service provider in Sydney or Melbourne. If you get in their premises, they expect you to study CCNA plus service provider actually. So if you're going to be as a security professional, you can choose CCNP. Routing and switching, CCNP enterprise again. So there are like so many professional courses are there. After you study CCNP, also you can choose expert level. That is CCIE. Our career in
We
the
cannot
networking,
go to CCIE.
no, directly you cannot even study CCNP without CCNA.
Oh, okay.
At first, you must study CCNA. Then only you can study CCNP. After NP, you have to study CCIE. This is like you have a intermediate in your graduation. After intermediate, you study BTech. After study BTech, you study in masters in master's course actually.
Okay.
Now, when you click CCNA, your career in networking begins with CCNA. I'm not saying this. I'm reading from the Cisco. Our career in the networking begins with CCNA. And that particular examination code is 200-301. So in CCNA contents, in CCNA actually, you are going to study very important 6 things. We have the network fundamentals. Next one is like a network access. Network fundamentals, network access. We have IP connectivity. We have the IP services. Security fundamentals. And again, we have automation. And program ready.
In automation, can I are you covering anything in automation?
In automation, actually, you'll be studying just some scripts on Python. And by using this Python, sir, we are going to write a script. And by using the script, we are going to execute all the configurations as well.
Like zero touch policy.
Yeah.
So not through Ansible?
Ansible is no. We use only Python still.
Python. Okay.
So if you are familiar with the languages, you can use Ansible also. These are the languages as well. Also, you can use some other language called Ant. No, it's very high level language.
Okay.
High level languages they are.
Oh, okay.
So We cannot start directly with automation now, as he's saying, because Cisco says first you need to study networking, network fundamentals, and after that we'll go with the network access or IP connectivity. Network access completely deals about the administration part in the switches. I can say it's switching. IP connectivity, it is the administration part on the routing. IP services, security fundamentals are there completely different again. So I don't like to use a PowerPoint and explain. No, it will not have impact on the students. So always I use Notepad or Paint, and we do that theory and the labs. So if you see now in the exam topics, in ccna exam perspective view, so these are the things which I am saying. In ccna curriculum 200-301, you're studying network fundamentals, network access, IP connectivity, IP services, security fundamentals, automation, and programmability. So this is the weightage of the marks from every module or every chapter, I can say. But this is not exactly so. They can change at any time. You see how the above topics are likely to be included in 2300. The topics are subject to change anytime to reflect the latest technologies aligned to the Cisco products. Actually, they sell the dumps, and when you prepare the dumps, from the dumps only they ask you the questions, and it will be it's so easy. And if I'm going for the network fundamentals, Cisco says explain, describe, compare, identify, configure. So when you say describe, configure, explain, that is completely something called theoretical part. So next 3 days, we'll be discussing completely on the network fundamentals, which is our main first session, first chapter. Then we'll go for the network access. And in the network access and IP connectivity, always we'll see something called configuring the VLANs, configuring the trunking, and configuring the LLDPs. SGP, you may be not knowing now. Sometimes you might have read, studied somewhere, you may have idea. So when you say like a describe again, some theoretical concepts, and when you say configure, you'll be having the labs. Okay. So these are the 6 main modules we'll be covering up in the course duration, and we need to start with the networking fundamentals from now, from today class. And when you are going for the network fundamentals,
Is it like daily 1 hour?
the daily will be having classes from sharp 8 o'clock. I'll be online. I forgot to tell you, take my number, everybody.
Okay.
In case if some power issues are there, you can send me the WhatsApp message. This is my number.
Okay.
India number. You can directly contact with me, no problem. Also, you send me WhatsApp. You send me the message today itself. Okay.
One moment.
I'll be not communicating with you in the case of power failure or some urgencies.
Can you type in the number once again, please?
It should be +191 990 416349. Done?
Yeah. Thank you.
So in network fundamentals actually, first of all, we need to understand like what is a network and networking. What is a network and networking? And of course, you need to know about the components of the network. Components of the network. And again, the types of network. So when you're going for like a network it is an interconnection of devices. Network, it is an interconnection of devices. But when you are going for like a networking is like sharing resources within interconnected devices. Okay, sharing resources within interconnected devices is called as networking. Sir, what do you mean by this? In every IT organization, you'll be having like so many computers will be there. A computer or a PC or a desktop or a laptop. Okay. Let me take for example, you have like so many computers are here. Maybe you all are working. So take for example, in your IT company, you'll be having some 200 users are there. So this 200, we call them as end station. End station. Or we call them as a host. In generally speaking, we say users or clients. Okay. All these are the names. You may have an end station or endpoints. Endpoints or end station or host or users or clients. All these users are connected by using a device called as a switch. For example, we have the we have different types of the Cisco switches are there, and these switches types are two types like Catalyst and Nexus. And Nexus administration is different comparing with Catalyst. So take for example, I have this type of switch. This is Cisco Catalyst 4000 series, 4900 series. Or let me take Cisco switch 2960. Now I have a switch. This switch has like so many interfaces called as ports. I start from the basics to advanced level. Do everybody follow Telugu? No.
Telugu a long time.
Oh,
I
long
can
time.
understand కొంచెం
Abdul. And I'm sure Muhammad also cannot speak Telugu.
But I can understand little bit, not high level. Telangana Telugu I can understand.
Yeah, I'm from Hyderabad only. But I don't speak Hindi, I've been here from last 15 years.
Okay.
But I never speak Hindi.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah, if you are comfortable, sometimes you can just if you have problem, we'll ask translation.
So this switch has the ports. Port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is slot. First 12, second 12, 24. Means I can use that switch to connect 24 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Take for example, 24. This is a 24 port switch. I can connect 24 computers. Can I buy a 20 port switch? Can I connect a 48 computers? No, because every port is connected to one host or one device. So if you have like if you have like 200, what I need to do? I need to buy one more switch. I need to have one more switch, a switch, again one more switch. So the second 24 again is connected by the other switch. Again, the other 24 is connected by the other switch. Like this, all 200 computers must be connected by using a device called switch. But the first 24, which are connected by the first switch, I have a PC1, I have a PC1, and I have the PC200. Now, if there are one switch is connecting 24, think for example. So for 100, you required 4. For 200, you required minimum 8 switches you required. A switch that connects the computer is called as access layer switch. Access layer switch. This access layer switch is also known as layer 2 switch. Layer 2 switch. And the layer 2 switch model numbers are like 2950 series, 2960. These are the types of switches as well. The first that what may use is access layer switch. Now, when 24 computers are connected to the first switch, only 24 computers only they can share and receive the data, but they cannot communicate with other devices. To cascade or to connect all these access layer switches, you use another type of switches called as distribution. Second one is distribution. And the distribution switch model number is, we have like an 3750 series. You know, it will be like an 37XX, I can say. The series of 37 or 3000, everything is the distribution. And the distribution switches are like layer 3. The distribution switches are the layer 3. If you observe here, in the catalyst switch, sorry, in the access layer switch, there are other 2 separate ports are there. See my mouse. There are 2 separate interfaces. These 2 interfaces are called as uplink. These 2 interfaces are called as uplink. So I use that particular uplink, one uplink to connect another distribution. And for backup, I need to have one more switch connected to the another switch again, another distribution switch. So every access layer switch, there are 2 uplink ports are available. Now why you have 2 uplink connecting to 2 distributions? Now why you require 2 distribution switch? In the case if one fails, another one is going to work as a backup. The distribution switches are connected to another switch called as core switch.
So it is like active, passive, or active standby? Right?
No, both will be inactive, sir.
Both will be active. Okay.
Both will be inactive because yeah, both will make them active actually. So when I teach you in the switching classes, I'll explain you that. I will tell you that.
Okay. Okay.
Again, the distribution switches are connected with your another type of switch called core switch. This is a core switch. And the core switches are 9000 and 7000 series as well. So switches are 3 types: access layer, distribution, and the core. I am trying to explain you about the Cisco hierarchical designing of a network. Designing of a network. A network is an interconnection of devices. So to connect the devices on the network, you must use access layer, distribution, and the core switch. Then the core switches are connected to the other device called as next generation firewall. Next generation firewall. I'm giving shortcut as NGFW. So now why I am giving a line? It is a cable. Huh? You take a one cable and you are going to connect to the firewall. Take a cable, connect to the another firewall. Firewall and firewall. And again in your IT organization, we'll be having some servers. Now you have a Linux server. In the Linux actually, you configure something called NIS, or maybe you configured LDAP, which is an authentication server. And there is a switch. Take for example, one switch. I'm taking only one switch. It's been connected to the first firewall and also it's been connected to the second firewall. There is a one server called Linux. We are using this operating system as Windows. Also, we have some Linux operating systems are there. You use Red Hat, Fedora, SUSE, Mandrake, Debian, Puppy Linux, Turbo Linux, and we configure this particular service called LDAP, and you create the users in the LDAP, and these users are going to be logged in on the client side. All the clients, the users are going to log in. Means in Windows we have something called Active Directory, but whereas in the Linux we have some authentication server called Network Information Service. Then you configure some server called file server by using some services like NFS or FTP or SMB. Samba we call, yes. Now I am just speaking on the server's knowledge actually. Just you need to know just your idea. That's it. Okay. All these are the file servers. And sometimes you may configure your database server. You install the Linux, you install the MariaDB, or install the SQL, MySQL, or anything. You can configure one server as a database server, file server, authentication server, or you'll be having like some other server like web server. Like so many servers are being configured, application server, production servers. In every IT organization, you'll be having this type of servers in on-premises, connecting to firewalls directly. Again, these firewalls are connected to any other network device called as a router. Okay, other network device called as a router. And these routers are connected to ISP, that is Internet Service Provider, because the users, the employees in the organization, they require internet. Servers also they require internet. So the routers are being connected to two ISPs. Two ISP means ISP1, ISP2. ISP1 and ISP2. ISP1 is in India we use BSNL and ISP2 is Airtel, for example. Why? If one ISP is down, other ISP is a backup. If one router fails, another router is a backup. If one firewall is down, another firewall is a backup. So like that, we'll be having completely in redundancy in designing the network. This type of network is called as tier 3. Tier 3 network. I'll give some time for you to understand. Networks are of two types, tier 2 and tier 3. So in tier 3, you will have completely redundancy. You will not have any issue, no downtime. Now, Abdul, Muhammad, they are working in abroad. After 10-15 years, they come to India. They want to make a startup company. Initially, they go with tier 2. Initially, you start with tier 2. So tier 2 don't have much redundancy, but the users switches one firewall, one ISP. But later, course time, for example, duration of the time, you convert your networks into tier 3 actually. A network is an interconnection of devices. This is what I said. Now tell me, what are the types of switches? Now it's time for you to speak. What are the types of switches?
Yeah.
Muhammad and Farin, yeah, three of you speak.
3 types of switches, access and layer 3 switches.
Access layer is also known as layer 2.
Layer
Distribution is
2, yes.
also known as layer 3. Core switches
Yes.
will function as layer 4, and also layer 7. What do you mean by layers? These are from the perspective of the OSI layer, they're divided. And I do discuss OSI layers in maybe after 2 days. Layer 2 is a data link layer, distribution is network layer, application layer, and transport layer. The core switches are going to function them at their layers actually. Now I have, so this is an employee. This is one employee. So you in the servers you create the user. For example, you create the user called Ali. You create the user called Ahmad. So this Ali user is going to log in on the client side. Ali is logging here, first computer. Ahmad is logging on the 200 system. All their files are saved in file server. All the what applications they want, they come to the app server, application server, and they access it. So server is a device, provides services. In one word, I can say, what is a server is? Server provide services. And again, we have the other devices called clients. Clients are the user. So clients, what they do? They receive services. They receive the services from server actually. Clients, server provides services. Clients, they receive the services from the server. So if these users, they want access internet, the request will come to the access layer, to the distribution, to the core. They go to the firewall to the router to ISP. Of course, ISP is connected to the other ISPs in the world, and I have a Google server, so they are accessing the Google page. All the requests, all the communication should happen through firewall. In the firewall, for example, firewalls are the security device. Firewalls are the security devices, are their security systems. And what the security device or security system does, it is going to filter every packet that goes from one network. We can say this will be one network. This we call them like one zone, to the zone of outside. All next generation firewalls are the zone-based firewall. We need to create a zone. Zones are separating. No, we are separating the network. All the clients, all the users where you create, we create a zone called as inside. Where you are connecting to the ISP, the connection, you give that zone as outside. Where you are connecting the servers, you make it as a DMZ. So now look, you have a DMZ, you have the DMZ, and we have the inside. This is your inside, and this is your outside. So whatever the traffic that goes from inside to outside to inside, the firewall is going to filter it. And if you create a policy to allow, it will allow. And if you create a policy to deny, it will deny. Now, for example, my manager said, please block all social networking websites. Just I create a one rule. I'll go to the firewall. I create a one rule, deny all social networking websites. So no user from inside our DMZ can access social networking websites. For that purpose, we use the firewalls. We do many things, but just you understand one example. Firewalls are the security systems. Like that, we use the devices in the network like switches. And also we use the devices like routers and so on. So when you are going for like networking is like sharing resources within interconnected devices. Sharing resources in the sense the user is sharing a resource. A resource can be a file. This user one sending an email to the user 200. You will configure one server as an email server. You configure one server as an email server. What is the email server? For example, if you are using like Windows servers, we have something called not the Outlook. We have the Exchange. And if you are using like Linux computer, Linux servers, Linux box, you use something called as SendMail or Postfix. Yes or no? Our Linux master.
Sendmail. Sendmail.
Webmail, SendMail, Postfix.
Yeah.
You know, these are all type of the email servers actually.
I like your teaching style. Your presence of mind is great.
Yeah. So by using email server, we have a email system, and by using that email system, all these users are sending and receiving the email in the corporate network. So what this user is saying, just is sending an email, means there is some communication is happening. He's sharing some information from his device to other device. This is what we call it as networking. Networking is sharing resources within interconnected devices. The resource can be a file. A resource can be information. A resource can be voice data, video data. All those things is called networking. Networking is sharing resources. Now, for example, I remove it. You can, I will tell you this 1 minute. You have internet. This is my internet, okay? And I have in my mobile. I have a mobile. I have an internet actually. And I have internet in my mobile. And also you have a mobile. And also you got the internet. So there is a one server called as WhatsApp server, or you have a WhatsApp. They have their own data centers actually. Take for example Facebook. Facebook, they have 15 data centers in the world. 1 minute. We have the Facebook data center. So when you are going internally inside of this data center, they have the servers, they have the storage devices are internally connected just by using the switches and the routers, firewalls, load balancers. Like there are like so many other devices are internally connected by using the cable. Thus we call it as a network. A network is a just interconnection of device. So for your understanding, I am typing just some 3 servers actually, okay? In one data center, you have like more than 3,000 to 4,000 servers are there. Physical servers there. Just go on, visit the website, introducing data center of Fabric, the next generation Facebook data center network, like what it is, how it's connected, what devices they use. So, of course, they have the load balancers like F5, very high-end storage devices. You see the Fabric connectivity? They have the Fabric switches. Like what switches we are using, the other type of switches is called Fabric. So one switch is connecting to all other devices. 48 top of rack switches they are being connected.
Can you explain the difference, like Fabric switches and the regular Cisco 2000 or 3000 switch, please? Hello.